Yes, I have to admit to having a crown, scepter, and a sash. I am called the Queen of Downtown Los Angeles because I set in motion an extraordinary revitalization effort that resulted in over $30 billion of investment, over 40,000 residential units, and hundreds of thousands of new jobs. In 1995, I became the first woman to run the Central City Association, which had been a quintessential good old boys club. When I first became the CEO, we were in the midst of a very serious recession that had hit downtown Los Angeles harder than other parts of Southern California. And I decided that we were going to change this. There was very little I could do about the recession itself, but we met constantly to figure out what did we need to do to start bringing downtown LA back, because it really was in very poor condition. There were not people on the streets. It was a 9 to 5 downtown. With the exception of the music center, there was really no fun things to do. The streets were dirty, and there was a feeling on the part of many, many employees and employers that it wasn't safe. What I promised my members at Central City Association was that we would take back downtown one block at a time. And that by doing that, every neighborhood around downtown would be uplifted, and the tax benefits would be spread all over Los Angeles, not just downtown Los Angeles. And that is precisely what happened. We decided, based upon looking at the revitalization efforts of other downtowns in the United States, that what we needed to do was create a living environment. Because when people live in a place, you have to have dry cleaners, you have to have grocery stores, you have to have bars and restaurants. That's what it puts energy on the street. So in 1997, I came up with the concept of what became the adaptive reuse ordinance, based on what they had done in downtown New York and some other cities. We made it easier for developers to convert old office buildings to housing, not knowing if this would really work. In 1999, the City Council passed the ordinance, and the minute it was passed, we saw people lining up to do these conversions. The other very catalytic aspect of our revitalization effort was Staples Center. It gave people a reason to come downtown. The other critical factor was that we began the effort to create business improvement districts in downtown Los Angeles. What is that? So that is a decision by property owners in a defined square block area that they're willing to assess themselves over and above the property tax they pay to do three things: to provide additional safety measures, to clean the streets, and to bring in investment, economic development. I was assisted by some of the corporate leaders in downtown who held property in other cities in the country who had business improvement districts. This nucleus of property owners became the backbone of our organizing effort. And we reached out to broader and broader circles of property owners, showing them what had happened in other cities like Denver, Philadelphia, downtown New York, and it was very effective. I worked my tuchus off, and everybody saw it, and everybody began to see the changes, and then they just left me alone because they knew I knew what I was doing, and everything I was doing was bringing more life and more investment to downtown Los Angeles. When I walk the streets of downtown now, I pinch myself every time I see a baby carriage, somebody walking a dog, the streets packed with people. We lived here for a few months in 2018 when we were remodeling our house. I could not believe the energy on the streets. Not just at noon when people were going out to eat lunch, not just at 5 o'clock when people were running to catch buses and pulling their cars out of garages, but at night. The streets were active and alive until midnight or beyond. And that is something I hoped for, I prayed for, but really didn't know if it was going to happen, and it has happened. The City Council did me the honor of naming the intersection of Hope and Wilshire, right in the heart of downtown Los Angeles, as Carol Schatz Square for my efforts in bringing downtown back. My efforts had a very significant impact. I will admit to that. But think about all of the developers in the early days after 1999, in the early 2000s, who took a risk on a location that everyone thought was dead and that could not have been brought back. There were many, many people who put their money where my mouth was. And they deserve tremendous credit. It wouldn't have happened without any of us.